What are the pros and cons of a static preparation versus a fluid preparation on your take back or on your load or on your ground stroke here, in particular your forehand swing? And I'm showcasing Coco Gauff here on the left and Emma Raducanu on the right. And what do I think is more preferable? What is more preferable in your game? It's more stylistic, but I think it's very important which type you want to choose for your own self. So I'll show Coco Gauff first here on the left, and she has a static preparation on her take back, on her forehand swing. Let's see it in normal speed here. Okay, and that's her swing versus Emma Raducanu here on the right. That is a more fluid type of preparation. Now, what do I mean by static preparation? Well, here's Coco Gauff, and when she does her load here, or her turn, or her prep, she pauses right here, and notice that her racket take back, her non-dominant arm, her hands, they're all very still, right? They're all paused once she identifies that she's going to hit a forehand. And a lot of players do this, most notably Serena Williams and Venus Williams. The Williams sisters like to do this on both their forehand and backhand sides. They do this early prep or static prep where they just pause on the turn. On the other hand, Emma Raducanu has a more fluid type of preparation where when she turns, when she identifies that a forehand is coming here, she goes with this turn, but everything is moving. Her hand keeps moving. Her non-dominant arm keeps moving. The racket head keeps moving. There's a little bit more of a wind-up, right? So check out that racket. It keeps moving, 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 and then she hits this tennis ball here. So which is better, the static prep or the fluid prep? And I'm more into the fluid preparation. I like fluidity in any ground stroke or in any tennis stroke. That I think is the better way to go, but I'm not against that static prep. After all, Serena Williams and Venus Williams, they have great ground strokes, legendary tennis players, obviously, and they have static preparations on their stroke. And Coco Gauff is obviously doing very well for herself. And so there are advantages to the static prep. And one thing a lot of recreational players can learn from the static prep is that it helps you recognize the ball better, right? You know, once you identify whether it's going to be a forehand or backhand, you need to turn right away. You need to turn and you need to prepare yourself. And a lot of recreational players do not do this, right? They prepare late and they are mistiming the ball. And so having an early prep like Coco Gauff here is, I think, a better route for many recreational tennis players, beginners or intermediate level tennis players. I think it is a good way to go. Also, with the static prep, you can defend better, I believe. And, you know, Coco Gauff here, she's more of a type of player that relies on defense. And so I think that early static prep helps out defending balls. Obviously, Coco Gauff can hit very hard and can put balls away, but when she's trying to absorb these balls that are hit back to her very well, I think that the static prep is a good way to go. So what are the drawbacks of the static prep? Well, one thing is that it's kind of awkward to do, right? You're in this turn, right? And then you kind of have to stop yourself and then accelerate into your swing, right? So you're kind of accelerating right after this stoppage. And why do that when you're already turning, right? Why stop on that turn? And so I think it creates that little awkwardness. Also, I think it's, you know, I know Serena and Venus, they have awesome ground strokes, awesome forehands, very offensive. But I think this type of preparation is better geared for defensive type of players. You know, with an offensive stroke, you need to have a good wind-up. You need that fluidity, that, you know, that again, that acceleration. And I think that static prep hinders that. So what are the pros and cons of Emma Raducanu's fluid preparation? And I alluded to it earlier. I think it's just better on offense, and it creates momentum. It creates that acceleration. It's easier to create that acceleration. And it's just, I think, a better stroke to have if you are more of an advanced player, right? So when you see Emma Raducanu here, it just keeps moving, right? Everything's moving. Again, very fluid. I like this style a little bit better. There's no cutoffs on your stroke. There's no hesitation. So I like this better. But the thing is, right, you have to time the ball, right? It doesn't matter if, you have this fluid prep, but then you're late, right? So I think it's a little bit harder to time. And so it all comes down to that recognition, right? If you can't recognize the ball, if you can't recognize how fast it's going to your forehand or backhand, then it doesn't matter how fluid your preparation is. You're going to be late, and you got to take care of that. And if you are late a lot, then I go back to Coco Gauff's static prep. Just go with that so that you're not late. But if you're, if you can do it, right, I think the fluid prep is the way to go here. So what's better for your game, the static prep or the fluid prep? And obviously, again, I'm more preferential to the fluid prep, but again, there's nothing wrong with the static prep. And Coco Gauff has a great forehand. Some coaches, fans, they may say that, her forehand is maybe a little bit weak, or maybe, there's not enough power on it. But there's more to tennis than just having a super awesome forehand. I pick Emma Raducanu's forehand as of this date over Coco Gauff, but who's the better player, right? It's Coco Gauff right now. So there's a lot of components to tennis, and a lot of it depends on what you believe and what you think is right for your game. So, take the pros and cons into account and apply that to your own tennis game. If you enjoyed this video, kindly do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.